Kraven the Hunter, released December 13th, 2024. Directed by J.C. Shander. Written by Richard Wink, Art Markham, and Matt Holloway. Starring Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Ariana DeBose, and Fred Heckinger. Rotten Tomatoes score, 15%. Metacritic, 35. IMDb, 5.5. MPA rating R. Welcome back to Real Reviews. Like always, I am your host, Lee. Today we are talking about Kraven the Hunter, the sixth Sony movie in their Spider-Verse that doesn't include even a mention of Spider-Man. Can they make an interesting Kraven movie without Spider-Man? Does this work as a pseudo-year one story for Kraven? Let's talk about it, first with just general talking points and then with spoilers. So let's talk about my first question. Can they make an interesting Kraven movie without Spider-Man? Yes and no. Kraven himself, played by Aaron Taylor-Johnson, is interesting. He does a decent job, and he certainly looks the part. They get a lot of key relationships right, and his backstory is close enough. But there are things they outright don't touch on that are important to the Kraven that people love. He isn't obsessed with being the best or proving himself. This is because they wanted to make him more heroic, and you can't have someone who is heroic who sucks. One of the big problems with Kraven comics-wise when wanting to adapt him to film in this way is that his most popular stories involve Spider-Man. He is a character that is made interesting by his obsession and his ability to be threatening to a hero most villains find overwhelming. Did they make a decent year one story for Kraven? No, not at all. It seems clear that at some point it was supposed to be a year one story, and then it wasn't, or vice versa. Another problem is that a decent chunk of the first hour is a flashback. The flashback is one of the least interesting bits of the movie. It does set up the villain and explain the origins of Kraven's powers, but it is a slog, and that time could have been better spent on building out the characters. We also don't get any real reason why Kraven is doing what he is doing in the movie. Is it because of his father, or his brother, or Calypso? No freaking idea, and that is an issue. Another issue with this is that in this world he is pre-established. The other characters have already heard stories of him. We don't get to see any of that. We see like a month of him being a teen, and then him as an established adult. A weird part is we get something as to why the villain is doing what he is doing. I don't think it is good, and it is really just a few lines of dialogue in the first 30 minutes of the movie, but at least they get a reason as to why the heck they are doing what they are doing. Even the minor bad guy gets a reason. While it is simple, it does work. The other characters don't have a lot of depth either. That is because this movie relies heavily on you getting the context for them by knowing their name or backstory, which I think is a bit of a bad idea. Comics are still doing okay, but with younger audiences and Kraven not really being an important character as of late aside from the Spider-Man 2 video game. I did really love Fred Heckinger as Dimitri. I think he was able to show better range than his recent performance in Gladiator 2. I wasn't a big fan of Russell Crowe's performance. I can't really place what about it didn't work for me. The effects in this movie are hit or miss. Sometimes they aren't bad, like when Kraven has unique methods of moving around the world. Those look fine. The animals that they include don't look super great. Really, they look off because they look similar to the modern Lion King movies, so they have that vaguely uncanny valley thing when they look almost correct, but then they look odd against the actors. The blood and gore is often outright bad. Like, I have seen similar-looking assets being used by beginners who pull pre-made assets into a video. I will say that overall I didn't hate this movie, it just has loads of flaws. I think when compared to Morbius or Madam Web, it is a better movie. From here on out, I will talk about spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie and don't want anything spoiled, come back later and watch the rest. If you are stopping here, thank you so much for watching. So this movie starts with Kraven breaking into a jail to kill a Russian mob boss. It is later revealed that this may have been done to repay Calypso, who after 16 years he discovered is the one who saved him as a child. But it is never explicitly stated as to why. It is between helping her or his list. A list we never actually see and don't know why or when this list was created. After he finishes his job at the prison, we get a flashback to him as a teen, where after his mother dies, his father takes him and his brother on a safari hunt because he wants them to be strong men. Calypso is there on safari with her parents, and her grandmother gives her a potion due to the outcome of tarot cards, saying that she will know when to use it. Kraven's father is hunting a legendary lion. Also, from what is shown in this movie, he is a terrible hunter along with being a pretty atrocious father. While hunting, Kraven and his brother fall back a bit to talk, and the lion just appears. Kraven seems to have some animal aptitude, but then his father shoots the lion, causing it to attack and drag away Kraven. Obviously, Calypso finds him and gives him the potion, saving him. The bulk of the story is around the bad guy, the Rhino, who was called weak by Kraven's father on the safari, trying to take power in the criminal world. Also, I don't know why Sony has a problem making an interesting version of Rhino. Like, this one comes off as smart but also falls for very basic schemes and pointless tricks. But yeah, his whole thing is that he wanted to be powerful because someone was mean to him one time. Then we have the Foreigner, who is honestly more interesting than the Rhino. He has hypnotic vision that lets him seem like he has super speed. He is in every way, including his fight with Kraven, more interesting. By the end of the movie, they have set up the Chameleon, who is Kraven's brother, who is also one of the more interesting characters in the movie. He gets probably more development than any other character in the movie, including Kraven. So I gave this movie a 4 out of 8 or a 5 out of 10 stars. The story being kind of a mess, the opening really making the movie drag, the antagonist being completely unremarkable, and the effects not being consistent are the only real issues I had with this movie. I don't know if this movie is leading into another movie, but I wouldn't oppose it. I think this movie has some good parts to work off of. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment for more content like this. I tend to have at least 2 videos out per week, real reviews like this or AI reviews depending on releases. Until next time.